This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Good morning. It's now time for our entertainment segment with Kit Avanzado, which means we're talking movies. And today we're reviewing Godzilla, which is a remake, obviously. Yeah.
It's a great movie.
It is.
And I'm going to go into this saying that I have a little bit of a bias towards monster movies. So, last year I loved Pacific Rim, and I grew up loving the Power Rangers and those Megazord battles. So I'll go into this saying I have a little bit of a bias. But even without my bias, I can say that this was like a legitimately good movie.
So this was a good remake? Because sometimes the remakes, you're just like, we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, the circa 2000 Godzilla remake with Matthew Broderick was it was terrible, to say the least. But this one really kind of... with the trailers, everyone kind of got their hopes up and saying, hey, this could be different, this is a new direction. They're kind of not necessarily making it a more darker tone, but, just getting a little more serious and not as campy with it. And they did a great job in terms of doing that. And the one thing I really liked about this movie was the slow build-up, and you actually got a piece of that in the trailers, too, in terms of we never really fully revealed Godzilla in the trailers. You never really saw what he looked like as a whole. So that slow build-up did a great job in actually creating some more suspense to it, but at the same time, you weren't left wanting towards the end. Because, you see that in other reveal movies or monster movies where you get that slow build up and then you finally see it and you're like, that's it?
Yeah.
But when you do finally see Godzilla as a whole, you're just like, wow.
Yeah, and I heard, I know that Paxton went and saw this review with you, and he had said on Monday or Tuesday when you guys were talking about it that it isn't until about 45 minutes into the movie until you actually see Godzilla.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not like the first 45 minutes is so boring. I mean, Bryan Cranston does a great job in terms of really developing that sense of human fear. Because one thing that you want to have when you're watching monster movies, these big epic movies, or the one thing you fear is getting lost in the shuffle or feeling like, all right, it's a monster movie, and kind of putting yourself almost at that same level. But what this does, it really makes you feel as though, you know what? We as humans can't do anything. We're almost completely at this monster's mercy.
So you're saying that they're making this more believable, that this could actually happen or could have actually happened. Because I know with those types of movies, you're just like, whatever, But then sometimes when they do like those sci-fi movies, you're just like, ooh, what if?
I know, and I did kind of play that game towards the end of it because it's like a fun little fantasy type game because it's a what would you do in that sort of situation. And this movie takes all the proper steps in terms of taking the right steps, and it doesn't make it seem as though, all right, that person took a ridiculously unnecessary step in terms of what a real person would do in that situation. So it's very realistic, very down to earth, but still very, very awesome in terms of special effects as well.
Okay, we'll talk about those special effects. Like, how was it?
Special effects wise, it was really, really good. A lot of times when you get these big monster type movies, you get that feeling of the old Godzillas where it looks like some guy in a suit over some scaled landscape and he's just toppling over like a cardboard building or something like that. But every hit, every fight, every even roar from Godzilla just feels so real, so visceral, and it really played off really well. So special effects were amazing in this movie.
Family movie? Not so much?
I'd say so. I mean, I'll give a little warning. It does have a little bit of a darker tone. And one of the realistic aspects of it is there is death in this movie. It's a mass destruction type movie. So that's what kind of lends it that realistic feel, but at the same time, it's not so much death and it's so overtoned to where
not so gory.
Yeah, not so gory. I mean, there isn't. It's still a PG-13 movie.
Right.
But I would say you could still bring your kids to it. They'll enjoy it.
All right. So out of 5 stars, what are you giving it?
I'll give it 4 stars. I'll give it 4 stars.
2 weeks
really
in a row.
Movie.
Wow.
I know, right? We've had a good stretch of movies, and it's a summer blockbuster season, so we've had a good stretch of movies.
Hopefully that will continue throughout the summer, right?
I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers.
All right. Thanks for that.
No problem.
We'll be right back.